And throughout this video, I want you to pay close attention to every age and the retirement timeline. And keep in mind that 401k, 403b, and the TSP come with the rule of 55. What that means is that when you turn 55 years old and you decide to quit your job, or you get fired, or you get laid off, you can start withdrawing penalty-free from your 401k, 403b, or TSP as long as you're 55 years old. Again, this is called a rule of 55 for the employer-sponsored retirement account, but it does not apply to your Roth IRA or traditional IRA. For example, let's say I have a traditional 401k and I have $1 million invested. And if I decide to quit my job, or I get laid off or fired by my employer after I turn 55 years old, then I'm eligible to withdraw from my traditional 401k penalty free. But I would still owe income taxes on the distributions. So if I follow the 4% withdrawal rule, that's $40,000 per year that I can withdraw without the 10% penalty, but I would still owe the income tax on the distribution. Makes sense so far, right? But what if I had a Roth account? All right. So that's what the question most people ask is, what if I had a Roth 401k, Roth 403b, or Roth TSP? And if I decide to make early withdrawals from my Roth 401k using the rule of 55, the early withdrawals will have to be prorated between my Roth contributions and taxable earnings. So for example, let's say I have $700,000 Roth contributions. Okay, so gosh, I can write for real. All right, $700,000 in Roth. So that's what I contributed. That's the after-tax dollars that I contribute to my Roth 401k, right? So you already pay taxes on it. And let's say you have, or I have, $300,000 in earnings. Okay, so the earnings and interest inside my 401k for investing in my 401k. So I invested in let's say a mutual fund, $700,000, and then accrue all the earnings and interest, $300,000. And now I have a total of $1 million. Then my taxable earnings ratio, this is going to be 30%, and this is going to be 70%. Because $300,000 divided by $1 million is 30%, right? So if I make let's say, I'm going to withdraw, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to withdraw $40K per year, okay, from my Roth 401k at the age of 55 every year, between 55 and 59 and a half. Then it's going to include a 30%, right? Or $12,000. And that's going to be taxable earnings. But 70% or $28,000 of that would be Roth or tax-free. So the $12,000 taxable earnings still won't be penalized by the IRS because of the rule of 55. Assuming the $40,000 is the only source of my early retirement income at age 55, $12,000 will be the only portion that would be taxed as ordinary income tax, but only until I'm 59 and a half. Because when I turn 59 and a half, then it's going to be completely tax-free, including the earnings. So the rule of 55 still comes with the ordinary income tax, but only on the earnings and interest. Makes sense so far, right? And there are also exceptions to the rule of 55. And you can withdraw your retirement as early as 50 years old. So let me go back to the other one here. So if you're a federal employee, state employee, or a public service employee, for example, if you're a federal employee working under special provisions such as firefighters, air traffic controllers, or law enforcement, you could collect a full pension at age 50 with 25 years of service, or age 55 with 20 years of service. And your pension multiplier with the federal government is actually even higher at 1.7% instead of the normal 1%. So if your high three pay is, let's say, your high three is 100K a year, okay? As a firefighter with the federal government, let's say you are a GS-12, right? GS-12, let's say step 10 or something like that. And I multiply that by 1.7% multiplied by 25 years of total service. That's going to be, let me do the quick math, 25,000 and 1.7. So your pension is going to be $42,500 a year. Let me know if I messed my math up. I don't think I did, but it is $42,500 a year in federal employee pension at age 50, right? And if you retire at age 55, not only you'll get the federal employee pension, but you'll get the TSP early withdrawal under the rule of 55. And that's why it's so important and really good to have with the TSP, because you can't do that with the Roth IRA or traditional IRA. It has to be an employer-sponsored retirement account. So 401k with the private sector, 403b, that is more for the nonprofit organizations, TSP for federal government, and there's other plans like 457 with the state or local governments. So that's why it's really important to have those accounts in place so that you have that possibility of retiring at age 55. And there's another way to retire earlier and collect a pension at age 38. So yeah, you heard that correctly. It's age 38. So I joined the Air Force back in 2004, 2005, and I was 18, right? So you can actually collect a full government pension as early as 38 years old if you serve in the U.S. Armed Forces for at least 20 years. And again, I'm an Air Force veteran, and I know people who've retired at age 38 or 39 and collect a full military pension. And officers, there are officers enlisted, if you're not familiar with the armed forces. Officers with 20 years of service usually retire at around the age of 42 or 43 because the academy years or the college years do not count towards their time in service. And I've made several videos about TSP investment strategies, and you can check them out on my YouTube page.